Well, beautiful Eastbourne here in England. It's the 2006 Hastings Direct International Championships. Quarterfinals, number 3 seed and French Open champion Justine Henin-Ardenne taking on the Russian Elena Likhotseva. Devonshire Park here in Eastbourne. I'm Leif Shiras alongside Katrina Adams, who won the doubles titles here back in 1989, with Zina Garrison, so an expert on the grass courts of Devonshire Park. And confirmation of our matchup today, the second quarterfinal for you here on the Tennis Channel. Henin-Ardenne taking on Likhotseva. Likhotseva, of course, a very talented Russian who is comfortable on the grass, but does she have enough today to take on the very confident Justine Henin-Ardenne, coming off her 3rd French Open championship?
Well, it's good to see Justine Henin-Ardenne here playing for the first time as a tune-up for Wimbledon. Always has gone from the French to Wimbledon. A couple of years there she was ill or injured and didn't have an opportunity to play. But for Likhotseva, a very good player on the grass. She drives the ball through the court, can play aggressive, take the ball off their eyes. Should be interesting. Yeah, and Likhotseva also a very accomplished volleyer, very successful in the doubles ranks. So if she has chances, perhaps her net play can help her out today. But the real story, Justine Henin-Ardenne winning that French Open title. You remember last year she was entered in this event, but injuries did not allow her to compete. She ended up losing in the first round of Wimbledon, the first time ever that a French Open champion has lost in the opening round of Wimbledon. So hoping for better fortunes this year, and the fact that she's healthy and on a winning roll has to be great for the Belgium star. Well, it has to give her a lot of confidence, especially the way that she played for those 2 weeks in Paris, and then coming here and reaching the quarterfinals thus far. She's looking forward to getting through this tournament, hopefully as a champion, and then moving forward to Wimbledon.
Yeah, she did not lose a set at Roland Garros. I guess it was Arantxa Sanchez-Vicario about 12 years ago who was the last player to do that. So she got through that, her 5th Grand Slam, with great style, great confidence. And Kuznetsova even said, you know, the thing about Henin-Ardenne, it's her self-belief. You know, she's got the great backhand, but it's her belief on the court that makes her so strong.
And the one area of her game that she's been working on the last couple of years is her net game. And if she can really put it together here on the grass courts, she could be unstoppable once again.
That's right. Wimbledon is the one Grand Slam event that she does not have on her championship resume. She's won 1 Australian, 1 U.S., and 3 French Opens, but she has been a Wimbledon finalist, so she's knocked on the door. She resides in Monte Carlo. She's currently ranked number 3 in the world behind Mauresmo and Clijsters, and you can see the wonderful record she's amassed so far. What a year she's having.
Well, I think it's great to see her back healthy, and that was one of her problems for the last couple of years. She had an illness there, and then she came back and got injured, coming back too soon perhaps. And for Henin-Ardenne, if she can stay healthy, she's going to produce the results that we've seen in the last couple months. And moving onward through the summer, she could be a dangerous force for the rest of the year.
Well, she said her goal for 2006, obviously she loves to win major championships, but she also wanted to regain the number 1 ranking. And she's made some strides up the list, now at number 3.
And she had a lot of pressure going back to Roland Garros as a defending champion and winning that in fine form, as you mentioned, not losing a set.
Here's Elena Likhotseva. She's the veteran out on the court, 30 years of age, but very talented, currently ranked 28 on the WTA Sony Ericsson ranking computer. Well, the breeze, the wind here in Eastbourne will be a factor. You can see she's just one of 2 players in the quarterfinals. Natalie Deschy, the other, who has a losing record. She's at 500 this year in the event. So it's been an up and down year for the veterans so far, but regaining some form here on the grass. A good win over Shanae Perry, the American, in 3 sets, and Perry close, a set away from reaching the quarterfinals.
Or for Likhotseva, it has nothing to do with her form or her style of play. It has to do with her nerves. She's known for getting very nervous, especially towards the end of a set, if she's about to close it out or we're about to trying to stay in it. And if she can keep her nerves under wraps today, this could be a competitive match.
Well, she'll need it against Justine Henin. And here's a look at the quarterfinal brackets. Lukotseva and Henin-Ardenne. On the bottom half, the winner will take on Kim Clijsters, who took out Francesca Schiavone. You can see how strong this event was. Miskina and Kuznetsova featured in the top half, a couple of French Open champions. And Elena Grunewald, the talented German, making a move on the grass as well. Of course, Natalie Deschy, the French woman, she took out Emily Mauresmo in the opening match for the world #1. Well, up next, Lukotseva and Henin-Ardenne, our featured quarterfinal here at the Hastings Direct International Championship. Stay with us on the Tennis Channel. Well, all eyes are on Eastbourne here, the 2006 Hastings Direct International Championships quarterfinal action. Elena Lukotseva in the yellow, taking on Justine Henin-Ardenne for a spot in the semifinals. Yes, and a good start for Lukotseva. Tested, and she passed.
15 love.
Well, it's a good grass court point. You got Henin-Ardenne on the attack, coming in on the chip and charge. But Lukotseva really moves along the baseline well and came up with a great shot.
This
is going to be a problem area for Lukotseva here with the wind. She has problems with her serve as it is, but the wind could really be a factor here. It's all about rhythm for her.
Now the forehand cross-court pressured Henin-Ardenne.
You can see that beautiful form on that backhand, but Lukotseva handled it very well and came up with a nice short angle, trying to open up the court.
Well, this grass court is so beautifully manicured here at Devonshire Park. And you have to like Lukotseva's game on this surface, but because she plays so flat, the ball will really shoot through on this grass surface. So you've got to start the point off, and that's where she struggled.
Well, the one thing that Lukotseva does well is hit the ball down the line. It's just a lot of inside-out shots. So she come up with a short angle and then come back to that. It'd be a great combination.
Well, trouble for Lukotseva. Henin-Ardenne with the break. Well, a feature of our show is Cat's Keys, and that's a look at what each player needs to do in order to win the match. Here's Justine Henin-Ardenne.
Well, Justine needs to break down the forehand of Lukotseva. It is her side that she produces most errors on. Attack the short balls and finish at the net. She wants to be aggressive. For Elena, she needs to serve well, as we saw a couple double faults in the opening game. Minimize the unforced errors and keep her opponent off balance. Try to make Henin-Ardenne have to go back for shots.
I think you're right about those unforced errors, because those will chip away at Lukotseva's confidence. Grass court volley.
Absolutely. Good pickup. Little short volley, and the ball just dies on the grass.
That's too good. And that's the kind of volley, you sort of hit and you act
30.
like you hit it intentionally short.
Sometimes you do, but most times you don't.
Because John McEnroe was so good, and Martina Navratilova as well, at just sort of dumping the ball short on the grass, which is almost more effective than hitting into the deep part of the court.
Well, it is the softest part of the court, and with no pace on the ball won't bounce up. So it is mostly effective when you're able to execute it properly.
Boy, that's just too good. Well, she is razor sharp here out of the blocks.
Mrs. Enarden leads 2 games to love. First
We have to admire the way that Enarden really stays up on the baseline. She puts everything into each shot, perfect position, and really loads up on those legs extremely well. That helps her with her power.
net for 6. Love 15.
And you can see how pace is a wonderful weapon on a grass court, because it is a little bit unpredictable, the bounce. It does skid through. And you can see Lakotseva just didn't move her feet enough to deal with that kind of pace. Oh, she's attacking one of the best backhands in the world.
Well, you can see Lakotseva didn't even get past the service line on this, and a beautiful backhand cross court from Enarden.
It's amazing how far over she is on that backhand grip. But she gets the racket face to the ball, and it's nice and flat. She drives up and through. She does so many things well on the shot. But I think she also uses her legs well, as you mentioned. I think she's under 5 feet 6 inches tall, but somehow able to generate tremendous pace.
And the acceleration on the follow-through helps as well. She really finishes the shot. A good block down the line. But her timing is impeccable, the way that she really makes contact out in front with that backhand and redirects it. Beautiful shot. It's a strong wrist.
Well, she tried to thread the needle down the line, but could not. So, Enarden off to a great start. Well, a perfect start for the number 3 seed, up 3-love. Here in the first set of this quarterfinal match, the Hastings Direct International Championships here from Eastbourne on the coast of England. And evidence of that, perhaps the breezes that are coming across center court here at Devonshire Park.
15.
Good slice serve from Enarden, who's making her debut here in Eastbourne. She was entered here last year, as I mentioned, did not play. So trying to make a move here this week as we lead in to the third major of the year, the championships at the All England Club.
15.
Returning the favor with that grass court bounce. That ball skidded right into In and Arden.
Of course, coming up next, third quarterfinal, Svetlana Kuznetsova taking on Annalena Grunewald of Germany. Very interesting matchup. Can Grunewald with that wonderful serve take on Kuznetsova?
Out. 30-15.
Ariana Alves in the chair.
Good returns on the grass or deep down the middle. Try to rush your opponent's footwork. In and Arden trying to run around it, unable to get around it quick enough.
Beautifully done.
She executes that so well. Better than any
40,
player on the tour right now. Really moving up and attacking that short ball consistently. You can see how she got early preparation with the racket, got down low. When she got to the ball, all she had to do was strike it. Too many players try to run up to the short ball and do everything at once. Get the racket back and hit at the same time, and they actually end up running at the ball as opposed to the side of the ball. She's got that shot down, Pat. Off the top of the bracket.
So 4-love for In and Arden.
Leads 4 games to love. First set.
Well, her countrywoman Kim Kleisters has said she'll finish up her career at the end of 2007. And they asked In and Arden after winning the French Open, she says, well, I want to have a long-term career. So you look at her with 5 major titles. I mean, she has the potential to amass, twice that. It's in.
Great shots from In and Arden.
Love 15.
Thought Lukoksova had her here. She had the upper hand, but the footwork of In and Arden and the balance kept her in this point. And then great touch here. Well, you talk about In and Arden wanting to have a much longer career. You have to remember she missed almost a year and a half with that viral infection that she had 2 years ago, and then another half a year with injuries. So her body's fresh. You're talking about running around on the court, and you can see how much output Kim Kleisters has. Such a physical player around the court in every shot that she hits. But she also has other goals in life that she wants to accomplish. She'll be getting married soon and start a family.
It seems like so many of the top women have other goals, or they have more on their plate than just In and Arden, who says, I just like playing tennis. My favorite moments are when I'm under pressure on the tennis court. Yes, that's a great exchange.
In and Arden just knows where to be at all times on the court.
15-14.
Lucky for Lukoksova, at least getting the net cord to get the ball in play. But In and Arden at the right spot at the right time. And those words that you said from In and Arden, she's a girl after Billie Jean King's own heart. Loves to be out there on the court.
13. Yes.
Lukotova winning a couple of important break points. Boy, she needs to get on the board and establish a toehold here. Find something to build a little bit of confidence on. She's down a couple breaks already. Of course, this set may be lost, but obviously you want to try and make something good happen. See if she can build some confidence for the second set. Boy, that is awesome, isn't it?
Advantage misses enough.
Watch her step up to this ball. And there's that acceleration you talked about, Katrina, just crushing that backhand.
Yes.
Well, a good body serve there from Lukotova, which on a grass court is very tactically sound because the ball can skid, get into your opponent's body, really handcuff them.
Advantage misses Lukotova.
And the best serves on the grass surface, not just the serve out wide, but the short serve out wide. Really opens up the court, and the ball really takes the grass court bounce with that slice.
Yes.
Of course, oftentimes if you aim at the body and miss, it can be right in that pocket. And that time in Arden, it was right over the plate, and she stroked a clean backhand.
Advantage misses Lukotova.
Yeah, something you don't often see from the face of Anna Arden is a smile on the court. After mishitting that return, she had a little smile on her face. It's refreshing to see.
Yes, so Lukotova does hold serve. She's on the board, and it's Anna Arden 4-1. Sunny day here in Eastbourne. Good idea to get some sunscreen on. Justine Anna Arden looking bright here at 4-1. Doing a lot of things well, and serving has been one of them. I'm Leif Shiras alongside Katrina Adams. Of course, Katrina played here on a number of occasions, and she's our expert on everything about Devonshire Park. Beautiful site.
15.
Well, it's a cozy place for the players to be. Everything is within walking distance to the restaurants, the town, the hotel. Not far away. So it's very relaxing. Not a lot of hustle and bustle, especially the week before a Grand Slam.
Yes, it's in. Now here's a slight chance for Lukotova.
15-30.
Well, Brad, she just happened to be in the right place at the right time here. And in Arden thinking she's going to take off down the line, she held her ground and just put the racket down. Great play.
She'll have a second serve to work with here at 15-30. Well done. Enough length on the forehand to bother Anna Arden. First chance for the Russian. No, the forehand's long, so Lukotova gets one of the two breaks of serve back. And you can see how much holding your serve will do for you. It gives you a bit of a boost.
4 games to 2.
She played a better game there. And there's a good look at this little seaside community of Eastbourne.
Well, speaking of seaside, you're awakened by the seagulls bright and early in the morning.
That's a great shot. And Eastbourne, as you said, is about a 90-minute, 2-hour drive from London, but you can also take the train.
Absolutely. Well, to Wimbledon, it's about an hour and a half. To London, it's a little bit further. It's about 2 hours, providing that there's no traffic on the M1. But a lot of players do take the train down based on where they're staying. Most of the top players, if not 50% of the players, actually stay in the Wimbledon area. It's a lot more convenient and conducive for traveling back and forth to the courts, especially on the rainy days.
Oh, that's too bad. Showing her displeasure with that error. And it was the unforced errors really in the first 4 games that were her undoing. And again, when you play flat, you play a little closer to that net and just hitting the tape.
Well, you can also see that her footwork just stopped as well, so that contributed to making that error. Got to keep your feet moving on this surface, and especially in the wind.
Oh, sensational.
See Lukotseva trying to move forward, but coming up with a mistake, approaching across court and to the backhand of Anna Nardan. Justine can go down the line, cross court. She can come up with a topspin lob off of that backhand. She's incredible with it.
Now that's a winning combination. So Anna Nardan restores the 2-break advantage, 5-2. Quarterfinals of the Hastings Direct International Championships. This is French Open champion Justine Anna Nardan up 5-2 on Elena Lukotseva here in the yellow. A chance to serve for the opening set.
One good thing to watch from Justine Anna Nardan when she's performing out here, she really sets up her point. She's going for the corner, she's going for the deep shots, always taking advantage of moving forward, looking to get inside the baseline and finishing at the net. Great serve there, and it's not so much finishing at the net with a volley, but at least putting herself in position so if the ball comes back, she's ready. But she's not hanging on the baseline waiting to have ground stroke after ground stroke. She's always being aggressive with her feet.
Well,
this is the kind of game you hope for when you're serving out a set. 3 chances now to close it out. Well, she takes it on the first chance. So Anna Nardan wins the opening set 6-2. Back with more from Eastbourne here on the Tennis Channel. Welcome back to Eastbourne, and here's a look at the opening set between Anna Nardan and Lukotseva. And boy, Anna Nardan is doing so much good stuff out here. 14 winners. clearly dominant.
Absolutely. It's not that Lakota was playing bad. Erin Ardan has taken advantage of every opportunity. 14-4 on the winner unforced error side. 8 unforced errors from Lakota, but a lot of those are because of the way that Erin Ardan is playing. 3 of 6 opportunities on the break points. And Lakota at least 1 for 1. So Lakota was playing pretty solid. It's a matter of trying to slow Erin Ardan down. Let's look at the coach of Erin Ardan, Carlos Rodriguez, who she's been with since she was 14.
Time.
Now, 10 years they've been together this June. 10 years of trust, 10 years of respect, 10 years of ups and downs. That's what Erin Ardan has said about the relationship. And she says, I will never play tennis without him. So that is
it's a big statement.
an amazing collaboration and so much success they have shared. Here's the second set. She stayed in the point long enough that time. Now remember, the 2006 Fed Cup by BNP Paribas will have World Group semifinal action between the United States and Belgium July 15th right here on the Tennis Channel. Really, the emergence of Jamia Jackson has been such an exciting revelation for all American tennis fans. Oh, too bad. Of course, Jackson played so well in the Fed Cup match against Germany, but how well did she play in Birmingham, taking out Maria Sharapova, reaching the final?
Well, some great results to see from Jamia Jackson. I had the pleasure of traveling with her a couple of years when I was a USTA national coach. A superb athlete, a great young lady, and just a hard worker, and it's nice to see that all of that is finally paying off for her. It's another beautiful passing shot from Erin Ardan. She loves a target at the net. So if you're going to come in, you better come in with a vengeance and make sure that you've got her off guard somehow. If she has a chance to set up for a shot, she's going to pass you.
Boy, that's a nice play. And it's fun to watch that replay of her with that forehand pass because she really got in that crouch. You know, her knees are bent. And I think in the modern game, so many players stand tall because they play with big topspin, but she really uses those legs to crouch down and then pounces. Wonderful athlete, and a couple of break points for her here. Well, Lakota missed it wide. It's unfortunate because right idea to take it up the line, but Erin Ardan has the break to start off the second set. You can see it just missed.
And you have to remember that the wind is blowing that way as well, so you can't play that close to the lines on your aim knowing that the wind is as strong as it is. You've got to play a little bit more for a bigger margin of error. And you can see the flags in the background. Full attention to the right, and that's the side that she missed the shot on.
Yeah, that wide shot is a wonder. It almost looks like a picture postcard. Devonshire Park with some of the hotels and the buildings just on the street outside.
But you can see when Erin Ardan comes to the net, quickly getting in position. She's always on her toes. Her knees are bent, as you mentioned in her other shot. And that's what's made her such a great player and allows her to be as quick as she is because her positioning is always there. She's worked so hard on her fitness and her balance with Pat Etcheberry down in Tampa or Saddlebrook.
15.
If you're not in the proper position, you can't make the shot. And she's worked so hard. She's not very tall in stature, just 5'5". But yet she's killing all the giants on the court.
Yeah, she really is the David of the women's tour out there against these taller, stronger opponents.
It's a lot of Goliaths out there. You look back a few years ago with Amanda Kutzer, who was very small in stature, that was very successful. And it was because of her fitness and her quickness.
Yes, well, that's really Lakotova at her best. Well, she took that ball beautifully.
It was a very short serve right in the middle of the box, not much on it, and you can see that Lakotova had her body weight moving forward, and that's what you need on those short balls. Your body weight behind it to produce the power. It's one of Lakotova's favorite shots, the inside out ground stroke, whether it's from the forehand or the backhand, and that one was perfect. Well done.
Deuce.
Another short reply, another attack. You can see Ardan actually slide on that shot, not intentionally.
Yeah,
Perhaps a hyperextension.
you can see her just trying to walk it off a little bit. I'm not sure it was her lower back, her hip. Let's take a look at this replay.
It's her knee. Hyperextension on that knee, and that's not, doesn't feel good.
Yeah, and when you get that far outside on a
And
grass
we
court,
see
it's
the
not
middle.
as rough and played on, so it's a little slippery out there.
Absolutely. Those are the-
Kotsova with another break point.
Sorry, those are the areas that you have to be careful in knowing when you're traveling into. It's foreign territory for players' movement. That's why it's so important to be fit and have the strong muscles, because that would help you prevent from getting hurt. Although it was a twinge, perhaps it won't hinder her in any way, and that's because of the strength of her quads and calves and hamstrings that are supporting that knee.
Now the forehand is wild. And Lakotova, a break back. So Ardan perhaps momentarily stunned after that slip on the grass. Is this a development perhaps for Lakotova? We'll find out. One game all here in the second set.
Well, it was definitely a mental error from Ardan to miss badly on that shot, and no one wants to be injured, but especially right before a big major. She's playing so well and moving so well out there. But you better believe she'll be in the training room after this match, getting treatment, getting some ice, getting a little massage, and making sure that everything is intact. Great body serve to Lakotova, from Lakotova into the body of Ardan. Very effective shot when it's sliding into the body. Some of the finesse around the net that we've been waiting for from Lakotova. Very talented net player. Finally gets herself in a good position. Ball below the net. Just drops the racket head a little bit and opens the face. Beautiful drop volley.
Well, that one bounced into the net.
No, it bounced over the net from her side.
Well, that's when you kind of have to smile at and just erase from the memory.
40-15.
We've all had one of those, especially on a windy day. Ball catching the top of the frame.
It really is a wonderful afternoon here in Eastbourne. Just under 70 degrees, but it's the wind that it's created tricky conditions here today.
Beautiful.
Oh. How good was that forehand?
It was so good that you heard Lakotova say, yeah, right off the bat. As soon as it left her racket, she was complimenting Ardan for a great shot. Amazing.
So here is another chance for Lakotova at 40-30. She get to 2-1. Yes, she does. Well, nice move by Lakotova to get ahead in the second set. 2-1, she's ahead. Well, the Tower Bridge in London, that wonderful city, awaits the arrival of all these players from Eastbourne. Wimbledon is on the horizon next week. So Justine Ardan serving at 1-2 in the second set. Well, the country that has brought you Sir Isaac Newton and Shakespeare, the Beatles, well, it's also brought us Eastbourne, the Hastings Direct International Championships. It's the final tune-up here in England before the third major of the season, Wimbledon. For a long time, the news here in London was about Sir Paul McCartney and his breakup with his wife Heather, but of course now the pages are talking about the World Cup, and with Wimbledon in the distance, well, there's a lot going on in this nation. And as exciting as I think it would be for Andy Murray to win Wimbledon, I'm not sure it would be as thrilling for the English sporting fans unless they won the World Group in the World Cup. Of course, England is qualified for the final 16. Of course, just to remind you, we'll have semi-final action here from Eastbourne. We'll have that Friday starting 6:30 Eastern. Kim Clijsters awaits the winner of this match.
Well, in order for Andy Murray to win Wimbledon, he had to go through this guy named Roger Federer, I think it is.
Yep, I've heard of him. Of course, Tim Henman, who's been playing well of late. You may have followed his play. Our coverage here on the Tennis Channel of the Stella Artois Championships from the Queen's Club in London. Leighton Hewitt with a big win there. So he is building up ahead of steam for a title that he's won before.
And he took out American James Blake in the final, so hopefully that's a good sign for the American going into Wimbledon to have a great performance. But right now, Ardan is trying to get back on track here with her aggressive play after a slip in the previous game. Kind of shook her up a little bit. Started off with a few unforced errors here. We're coming up with some good serves now.
Boy, she knew she had a chance there. She was inside the baseline, taking it up the line.
Deuce.
Well, she's not out of trouble yet. Lukotseva on the attack.
But when you do have the volley skills that Lukotseva has, you have to take advantage of those short balls and try to move forward and just put yourself in the proper position. I think too often players are trying to hit winners on their approach shots as opposed to making it a good approach shot.
Advantage. Misses.
Ball really stayed down low. You can see Lukotseva bends her knees extremely well, but couldn't get under it.
And that's one of those shots on a grass court that you really have to move to the ball. It's not going to come to you. Grass is not necessarily a fast court. It's a soft court or a dead surface. You have to move to the ball.
Deuce.
Well, she continues to hang in. A good two-handed return gets her back to deuce for a second time.
Advantage. Misses enough. Deuce.
Well, her longest service game of the day, and Lukotseva, you can see she knows this may be her moment.
Just missing the center line. Wow. And Ardan really took her time there, got there in plenty of time, perfect position. You can see how low she is and the acceleration of that racket head producing the spin. Just up and over the net, keep it well inside the court. A much different shot than you would see from someone like a Lindsay Davenport. Doesn't have that much racket head acceleration as far as coming over the ball, but it comes through the ball very quickly.
Game is enough.
Well, she wins a tight game on serve.
2 games all, second set.
Well, that was a big game for her to hold and could be a pivotal game here. I think Lukotseva realizing that she had an opportunity there, let it slip away. It'll be interesting to see how she bounces back here in this service game. If she can keep that aggressive play moving onward.
Love 15.
We mentioned Enan Ardan making her debut here in Eastbourne. Lukotseva, this is her 12th appearance at Devonshire Park. Good time for her first serve. Gets her to 30-15.
well done from Lukotseva. Not so much trying to go for the pass, but at least getting the ball down at the feet of Justin Arden, putting herself in position for the next shot, and Arden unable to come up with it.
Ball to Eastbourne.
Well, 40-15, you have a little bit of wiggle room. Never like to surrender a free point, but she's got another chance, though, to get to 3-2.
Beautiful.
Well, that's the target tennis you talked about, Katrina. She likes to hit these pinpoint passes.
And that one wasn't so far away from Lukotseva, but her positioning here, Lukotseva obviously split-stepped a little bit late and was unable to cut back to that shot.
Yeah, she gave up the line just a little too early, didn't she?
Well, she's gotten past cross-court in the past 3 or 4 times, so she was kind of leaning to the right, looking for the cross-court, and Arden surprised her and went right behind her.
Advantage.
Well,
Mrs.
you raise your hand to say sorry, but deep down you're saying yes. That one lands right on the line. Watch this, off the throat of the racket, or the frame. Well, maybe even looked a little wide.
It could have been. I didn't see any chalk flying up from that shot.
No chalk on the line. So here's a game point, Lukotseva.
Yes.
Second double fault this game. I mean, you just hate to give Arden too many chances.
Advantage, Mrs. Lukotseva. Game, Mrs.
Well, some return errors, and Lukotseva has a 3-2 lead in the second set. Well, Elena Lukotseva has put herself ahead here in the second set. Let's see how Justine Arden responds. Well, this set's so dramatically different from the opening set when everything was going Arden's way, and since that little slip she had on the baseline where she jammed her knee, maybe hyperextended it just a little bit, she has not looked as comfortable, and Lukotseva has built some momentum.
Love it.
Used to be a time where the serve was a weakness of Arden. Still hasn't become so secure, but it's a little mental lapse there.
15.
Lukotseva was running to the other side before she even finished her stroke there. A little bit anxious on that return.
30.
Boy, that was a chance, wasn't it? A ball inside the baseline. Would have given her 2 breakpoint chances. Instead, 30 all.
You have to be careful when you sense an opportunity or an opening to move ahead that you don't rush. You continue to take your time and set up your points. And those were 2 points or 2 shots missed from Lakosova that I think she just rushed.
14, 30.
Good placement on that serve. See how the grass really took that.
Yeah, she really sliced across the edge of the ball, and you can see it just turned left when it hit the grass. So 4 straight points, and Annan Arden equalizes at 3 games all.
3 games all. Second set.
Quarterfinals from the Hastings Direct Championships. Beautiful Eastbourne. Resting right here alongside the English Channel.
Beautiful atmosphere with the piers along the shore.
Left. Love 30.
Annan Arden really directing her play over to the forehand wing of Lakosova, and it's paying off as the Russian some unforced errors and love 30 deficit. Lakosova has struggled in 2006. Just a couple of quarterfinals so far in 13 events. She quarterfinaled in Tokyo and just last week in Birmingham. Oh, that's bad luck for Lakosova.
That's a grass court, net court.
15-14.
But touching on what you said about Lakosova, she's had a rough year. Last year, her best year ever in her singles performance, semifinalist of the French Open, and then losing first round this year. Didn't do much for her confidence. And not getting past the quarterfinals of any tournaments this year.
Game misses.
So Annan Arden with an important break of serve right in the middle of the second set. 4-3. Justine Annan Arden returning to the grass courts of England. Of course, her last grass court event was Wimbledon last year, where she lost in the first round.
Love.
Of course, that first round loss, first time ever that the reigning Roland Garros winner had lost in the first round of Wimbledon. Lost to Eleni Danilidou. How do you pronounce that? Danilidou, thank you. 7-5 in the third set, but trying to make up for it here with a win here and maybe earning a spot in the semifinals. Well, it would be another battle. Of course, Kim Clijsters awaits the winner of this match, and that is a mouth-watering matchup.
Absolutely. Well, there were a lot of firsts last year, as with the Grand Slam champions, where Anastasia Messina had previously won the French Open, lost first round. And then this past year, Kuznetsova had won the U.S. Open and lost first round.
Too far ahead of ourselves here as Lakotsa was applying some pressure, and Anna Nadan needed to come up with a tough pass. Fairly central, that approach shot, so Anna Nadan could see some room down the line pretty clearly. You have to credit Lakotsa. She's realizing it's tough to beat Henna Nardan from the back. I have to win from the front. And even though she's been passed a few times, she's made some inroads by getting to the net.
Well, she at least is trying to put the pressure on her, but Henna Nardan is not breaking under the pressure. She's taking her time and committing to her shots and not letting the movement of Lakotsa rattle her. A lot of times they say, put the pressure on them, get to the net, because players will have a tendency of starting to look up to see where their opponent is before they strike the ball on the passing shot and come up with the errors. But Anna Nardan is just staying on the ball and coming up with some beautiful ones.
No, that's too bad. She had a chance, but Anna Nardan always makes you play one more shot. And in that instance, it was good enough to get her to 5-3. So just a game away from the semifinals. As you mentioned, Anastasia Messina, former French Open champion. She's playing her quarterfinal against Natalie Deschi on an outside court. And they're getting ready to take the court fairly soon. Of course, Natalie Deschi taking out the top seed Amelie Mauresmo. Deschi also from France.
Lakotsa serving with new balls.
No, that's bad luck. Of course, Mauresmo's last two matches, including that loss to Deschi, but also that fourth-round match at the French Open against Vadasova, both really stunning losses. I think people expect a lot from the world number one.
Sounds of broken glass in the background, perhaps a glass of Pimm's.
Yeah, that or an early afternoon tea here in London.
15.
It was approaching 2 p.m.
Traditional English tea is served at 4 p.m., although high tea is 6 p.m., but that's now really early supper. They don't call that high tea much anymore.
Look at the balance on Anna Nardan. She cuts so well. She can just stop and push back.
30.
And that was part of the keys I was talking about, to try to keep her off balance, because she is so balanced. You have to find a way to wrong foot her. Good movement of the feet from Lakotsa. And she was there.
40.
Most of the balls that are net courts on the grass court will fall over. They don't pop back because the nets are not as tight as they would be on a fixed court, such as a hard court or the clay courts. These are removable poles.
Yeah, almost like stakes, aren't they? They just get planted into the grass. And the net really drapes. It's not a real taut cord.
Well done. Beautifully executed.
40-30.
Very effective when she's been moving forward. You can see Lakhotseva has struggled. Well, nice game by Lakhotseva. She'll force Anna Nardan to serve for the match. Justine Anna Nardan, her favorite surface is red clay, but here she is on grass, serving for a spot in the semifinals here in Eastbourne.
Well, that's a great combination. The good serve, moving forward, finishing off with a swing volley.
As she says about playing on clay that I have time to organize my game. I think clay changes the way she has to think because you have to be a little more instinctive. The ball comes to you more quickly. You have to react.
On the grass, yes, you have to react and be prepared for anything. She's walking around the court pretty confident. I think she'll be pleased with her performance if she's able to close this out. Executed very well. Point from Anna Nardan. Incredible reflex volleys. Good lunge. Just overplayed by Lakhotseva. What do I have to do to win a point?
How that volley stayed in.
The wind. Those are those points like for Anna Nardan or any player when you can win those points, that the adrenaline is so high.
A love service game to finish off the match. Well, a dominant performance for the three-time French Open champion, and she is into the semifinals here at the Hastings Direct International Championships.
Well, as I mentioned, Anna Nardan executed extremely well here, and I think she's going to be extremely pleased with her performance today.
Well, she should be. She was dominant, except for a couple of moments in the second set when Lakhotseva looked dangerous. It was all Justine Anna Nardan. Back with more from Eastbourne. Moment for Justine Anna Nardan. She's making her debut here in Eastbourne, and it's a good one so far into the semifinals pretty easily over Elena Lakhotseva. And some numbers from the match.
Well, it speaks for itself. 29 winners from Anna Nardan, only 9 from Lakhotseva. The unforced errors kind of rose in the number for Anna Nardan towards the end, but she executed so well. 5 of 8 breakpoint opportunities. Came to the net very well, finished off, was very aggressive, and moves ahead.
Yeah, that victory for Anna Nardan moves her into the semifinals where she'll meet someone she knows pretty well, fellow Fed Cup teammate Kim Clijsters. Wow, what a matchup that will be. And remember, we'll have that one for you on the Tennis Channel. Top half of the draw, Deshi will take on Miskina. And up next, Svetlana Kuznetsova taking on Annalena Grunewald of Germany. Third quarterfinal that we will have for you here on the Tennis Channel. Should be good, but a good day for Anna Nardan. She looks good on the grass.
Well, she's looking great on the grass, and it'll be interesting to see how she matches up against Kim Clijsters on grass, as they'll be playing for the first time against each other on this surface.
Comfortably 6-2 and 6-4. Well, for our Tennis Channel crew and for Katrina Adams, Remember, stay with us. More tennis coming up from Eastbourne. I'm Leif Shirus. See you next time.